come lick with your boy, come late. Come and blow some trees with your boy, let's late. We can watch a flick if your boy come late. We can joyride and explore late. Baby, come lick with your boy, come late. Come and blow some trees with your boy, let's late. We can watch a flick if your boy come late. We can joyride and explore.
You're now tuned into Linked Up with Lux.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Lux, and today's episode is called Stop Lurking. Now, you know, that statement there is pretty self-explanatory, but for those who don't understand, let's break it down. You know, when we all have been down that road where we would lurk on an ex, we would lurk on an old situation, we would lurk on someone that we might have been tied to in the past, and it's like, where does that really get us? You know, and some people even lurk while they're involved with that person, like, you know, while they're in a relationship. You know, you're going through the following list and the followers list, and you're trying to coordinate, you know, how do you guys know each other, and you know, have you liked each other's pictures? You know, you got it bad when you go to that person's page, like of the person they're following, because first you see if they're following each other. Okay, so that's the first red flag. You're like, and then you be like, okay, let me go to their recent pics or their post or whatever the case may be, and then you search their name in that box. Yeah, just to see if they like that that post. You know it's bad when it gets to that point. So I mean, you can lurk while you're in a relationship or while you're in a talking stage. You can lurk after you guys fall out, you know, but it's just not healthy. And then you do the same thing on their pics. You know, you see if that person liked their pics, and it make you kind of think like, and sometimes it might just be an innocent interaction. You know, it could be random, but you know, if you have the type of brain that sometimes I have, and you just overthink a lot, you start to think like, clearly y'all like maybe, you know, mess with each other in the past, or y'all know each other, or y'all had a little situation, or whatever the case may be, and your mind just get to going crazy. Some may call that insecure. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But sometimes your overthinking will be the same thing that protects you in the long run, because people always downplay their interactions with others. You know, like, oh, like that person, we didn't do anything, or oh, we just went to school together, or oh, that's my friend's brother, or like, you know, whatever. And it is what it is, you know. And me, I'm not gonna tell nobody to unfollow nobody. I'm not gonna be that guy. I don't want to go down that road, and I'm not gonna imply it, you know. But if certain things make me feel uncomfortable in a relationship, you better believe either I'm gonna go, or you gonna peep the vibe and be like, okay, you know, maybe I shouldn't do this. But only if you choose to, only if you feel like it may be a problem, only if you feel like you're doing it to cater to me. You know, it's never no force like, oh, well, you better unfollow this person or I'm gonna be angry. Like, nah. You know, I might address it, try to get some background information. You go off the vibe. And, you know, some women, though, they'll be like, oh, well, we're not mind readers. You can't just expect us to know. I mean, I'm gonna just say that I do agree with that. You know, my past self probably would have been like, well, the signs. But I mean, it is true. I mean, some people genuinely don't know what upsets you. Like, you can't genuinely hold somebody accountable for doing something that you never truly, like, fully 100% expressed, right? But again, I'm not looking, you know, for that person that's just going to tell me to tell them exactly what needs to be done. Whenever I'm dating, I want to see how you would react naturally without influence. I want to see if your mindset aligns with my mindset, you know, naturally. You know, like, why would I just start dating somebody and literally give you my whole list of like, no, don't, you know, do this. Because I mean, at that point, it's like, this is build your dream girl workshop, like this. I wish it was that easy, you know, but it's like, I'm not here to, you know, spoon feed anybody what I expect in a partner, you know. But anyways, back to lurking. Lurking will have you losing your mind. And it's just not, it's not healthy. It's definitely not healthy. And, if you can get to a point where you just don't go down that rabbit hole, and like everybody does it initially, right? But it's like when you get to that point where you don't even want to go back down that rabbit hole, stay off their page, don't engage with anything. I mean, it shouldn't be that way, but sometimes for our own peace, especially if we're dealing with people that we're kind of uncertain about, it's not even worth it. Now, I mean, that's just, it is what it is. And again, I'm just talking based on like a situation that may not like have hit its peak yet, or a situation where it's like y'all are rocky, like y'all still trying to like, pick little things about each other to kind of overlook it, not really be too tied into your emotions, based on like the early stage. Like, I'm not talking about if you actually found your person. I mean, things would be different, because then by that time, I'm sure you would have established trust. You would have established boundaries. But when people get into these relationships, situationships, they don't establish any of that. People just have a whole bunch of expectation, but they don't establish boundaries. They don't have like the blueprint, and that's why a lot of people just be involved with each other without really developing something serious, because one person is going into it like, well, I want a woman that does this, and cooks and cleans and da 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 da. And, he's not expressing that. And then a woman goes into it like, oh, well, I want a man that, provides and pays all the bills and does all of this, but I don't mind cooking and cleaning, but I'm not going to do it until I can see that he's, able and willing to provide. And then when y'all actually get entangled with each other, you're just like, hi. What you doing? Nothing. Oh, cool. I like you. Oh, cool. I like you too. Oh, let's move in with each other. Like, y'all be skipping so many key critical steps in all of these relationships. And it's just, you can't be mad at the outcome. I mean, people be skipping through the very important steps, the basic steps. And it's just something you definitely have to be able to reflect on with your new relationships moving forward. You got to take your time, stop rushing into things, actually just take the time to reflect on how they make you feel and reflect on how you make them feel, and just, try to have some middle ground, but that's easier said than done. But all I got to say, stop lurking. It's only going to drive you crazy. And that's not even talking about going through the phone. Like, oh my God, we've all been there. They say like, oh, well, you're going to find what you're looking for if you go looking, or whatever the saying is. I mean, that is true. I'm not going to lie. At first, I didn't really understand that, because in my mind, I'm looking at it like, well, I mean, sure, I'm going to find what I'm looking for only if what I'm looking for exists. So in simple terms, I was thinking like, okay, well, if she's talking to another guy, I mean, yeah, I'm going to find it because that's what I'm looking for. But it's deeper than that, it's way deeper than that, because in my mind, it's like she shouldn't be talking to anybody else while we're talking. But you get past that initial lurking point where it's like, okay, you see she's not talking to anybody, vice versa, or whatever the case may be for you listening. And then it's like, okay, great. Like, oof, like that's a relief. And then your mind just tells you to keep going, keep looking, look here, go further back, go further back. So then you start to see things from past situations, which is like, of course, like they had a life before you. They did things before you. I mean, you're not perfect. You did things before them, but you start to see things that you probably would have been better off not seeing. But you can't be mad, even though what you saw might be crazy. You might see some flicks, some pics. You start going through them text threads, you start seeing them, doing what with who, and it makes you feel some type of way. So it's like your main reasoning for being upset, you were validated. Like you're like, great, like she's not like talking to anybody right now while we're talking, unless she deleted the messages and the threads and she's really sneaky, or she has people under different names. We're not going to get into that. But then you go and find something that you didn't even want to see. So now you're still judging them. You're still looking at it like, oh my God, how dare this person have a life before me? How dare they be involved? Because now your mind's just racing. You're thinking about what type of person they were. You're thinking that, your little Booski, your little, Snookum Pop, so sweet, so innocent. She's so sweet and kind to you. Vice versa, again, depending on, who's listening. You start to see another side that makes you kind of put a wall up against them, and that will taint your relationship. And I'm not gonna dive too deep. I'll make another episode about truly going through someone's phone and the depth of that, and that whole magnitude of just anxiousness, like do, your heart's just going, you shaking. It's just like, oh my God, like what are you gonna see next? It just, whew, that's a whole different conversation. But it's like you're gonna find something that you were looking for. Just not necessarily when you expected to find it or when you expected it to occur. And I tell you, I don't want to just say what you don't know can't hurt you, because that's like, duh, that's obvious. Because when we talk to people, we have these high expectations, and maybe our expectations are a little too high, or maybe we just don't communicate effectively in terms of what we want right away. And that's not, again, to say, hey, here's my list of my do's and don'ts, so just follow it or I'm gonna cut you off. But maybe a little communication is needed, in the beginning. Now that I'm reflecting, maybe a little communication is needed, but it's like you never want to give somebody the cheat sheet, because I could have gave the cheat sheet to the last chick and the last chick and the chick before the last chick and the chick before that chick, so it's like, I just want to see what type of person you are. And I think, honestly, that's what's truly important. You have to give people time to show you who they really are, and you have to simply listen. And if it's something that you're not okay with, out the gate, cut it off. A lot of us, we give chance after chance after chance. Oh, who's this? Oh, blah, 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 blah. We know it's more than what it is, but you just, brush it off. Oh, why is this person texting you this? Oh, I don't know. That's just a random guy. You brush it off. You're like, because you don't really have solid evidence. But you should always go with your gut. Always go with your gut. And stop lurking. I promise you're going to feel so much better when you stop going to their page, when you stop checking for who they're talking to, when you stop trying to see if they're making, posts that tie to anything related to you, or, you're going down their page to see who they were involved with. Or you're checking their follower list, you're checking their following list, you're trying to take screenshots of their account, and you're looking like, okay, hold on, wait. They just follow somebody else. And now you're trying to figure out, how did you follow this person? Why did you follow this person? Are you attracted to this person? Because again, you have Instagram. You know how it is when you're single. You just like whatever you like. If you don't have any ties to anybody romantically, who's telling you whose pic you should like? Who's telling you what to react to? Nobody. So it's like, you have to be reasonable, because you have to look at it from that perspective, but when you're in a relationship, is it wrong to not expect, your partner to like, the opposite sex or same sex, if y'all like the same sex, post? Does that make you insecure? Does that mean you have trust issues? Does that make you controlling? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but at the end of the day, nobody is your possession. And you just have to let it go. Protect your mental. What's done in the dark most likely will come to the light. And always stand on your gut. Stop playing private detective. It's all gonna be okay. I'm sure you want to eat tonight. So instead of going through that phone and confirming your, concerns and your thoughts, just cut them off. I promise you that's way easier and way better than going through that phone and seeing some stuff that you really didn't want to see. You got that suspicion and they're not doing anything to kind of make you feel secure and you already feel like it's coming to an end. Just cut them off. Protect your peace. Always. It's your boy Lux. I'm out.